we romanticize the old school toughness of the way they used to be back in the day. But of course, Bud Grant, still a consultant with the Vikings, old school legendary badass, the greatest coach in Vikings franchise history. Should have ripped off one Super Bowl one time just for Bud. Just for Bud, man. Also, random story. I think I've told this on here before, but for people new to the channel, when the wife and I were looking at houses, we were looking for our first house about 8 years ago, 7-8 years ago, and we were looking at some places in Bloomington, and there was one place that was like, this neighborhood looks really familiar. This place looks really neat. Blah blah blah. Didn't end up working out. We didn't want to move that far up into the cities. South Metro for life. And it turns out that it was one door down from Bud Grant. Because I had remembered the place because I had been to one of the garage sales before. So that's why the neighborhood looked familiar. I could have been Bud Grant's neighbor. I could have walked over across the street. Hey Bud, can I borrow a cup of sugar, neighbor? He would have been like, get off my lawn. It would have been great. Anyway, Bud Grant did an interview and he talked about how the NFL should toughen up. That's right, man. Also, I remember Bud Grant coming out there in the polo tee. That's right. That wasn't even for show either. That's what he wore the entire game. Like, he ended up looking like Jack Nicholson. I always get Jack Nicholson and Jack Nicholas mixed up. Jack Nicholson, the actor, the Lakers fan, at the end of The Shining. That was Bud Grant at the end of the game when Blair Walsh missed that kick. That's right. But Bud Grant, did an interview talking about NFL should toughen up, reduce fair catches, and kneel downs. It's fair. Bud Grant, blah, 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 getting too soft, talked about quarterback kneel downs. I would complain to people about the idea that when the trailing team was out of timeouts, the quarterback starts kneeling down and the fans are leaving, Grant told the Strib. There's nothing that can be done about it. I kept thinking about it and decided, yes, there is. The team on offense has to make a yard, 1 yard, or the clock stops. A few things that can happen when trying to make a yard. You can get stuffed, you can fumble, you can get a penalty, and you keep the fans interested. Not going to lie, that's a pretty good one because there's nothing more infuriating. End of the game, defense is out of timeouts and they're down, and then the other team gets a first down with like a minute left. Game's over. Game is over, but I like it. And I know the NFL, under the guise of player safety, yada yada, and to a degree, I agree in a large part. But I mean, stuff like this, keeping eyeballs on the game till the bitter end. You can have a miracle at the Meadowlands, Herm Edwards type moment. Was Zonka the running back and the quarterback was Joe Pisarcik, I want to say? Yeah, but the NFL should honestly consider that. I like that. Get a yard or the clock stops, man. Prior to coaching the Vikings, Bud Grant, CFL, blah, blah, blah. I attended enough meetings to know the NFL wants to avoid admitting Canadian football has a better idea about anything, yet they should allow Canada and take away they should follow Canada and take away the fair catch. There's no fair catch in Canada, but the coverage also has to give the returner 5 yards. NFL people hear this and they'll say it will increase injuries. A 5-yard cushion makes all the difference, in my opinion, is that there won't be a real increase in injuries and the punt would become an interesting play. I'm kind of down with this too, because even with the fair catch, there's a halo with the NFL returner. But I mean, the 5-yard cushion, I mean, that would be really interesting because the punts are boring, especially if a team has a quality punt returner. The opposing punter will just pop it up to make sure that their coverage gets there or boot it out of bounds. So it's really a nothing play. I mean, when you know that a team is not going to let the punt returner kick it, like Devin Hester back there, of course you're interested, but teams just aren't going to punt to him. That's the time where you get up, go take a piss, go get a beer, go get some snacks, and all that stuff. But trying to make the game as interesting as possible while keeping it as safe as possible, yeah. Don't get me started on players kneeling in the end zone on kickoffs. Yeah, that's probably not bueno either. Why bother if your goal is to make the kickoff the most nothing play in football? They say it's about safety. Injuries can happen on every play. They make several changes on what can block the kickoff. Blah blah blah. They did have data about the high impactness of the kickoff. That's why they busted out the wedge. That's why they got rid of the running start. So I mean, keep the non-running start in place, but I mean, the kickoff is great. I mean, the kickoff is a great equalizer because if your offense is struggling, but your defense is top dog, you have a chance to stay in the game. That's what happened with Lovie Smith's Bears for so many years. But I mean, we had Cordero Patterson, we had Marcus Sherrills, we have King Kene and Wangu, and I mean, Cordero Patterson should be a first ballot Hall of Famer just on his kick return prowess, but he is now in an age where the kick return has been nullified. It's really been neutered, but yeah, he's still doing amazing things. So I agree with Bud. I mean, the game should be more interesting. Getting rid of the kneel downs to run out the clock and modifying the kick return and punt return so that it's still safe for players, but it still can make an impact on the game as opposed to just being an inert play. Yeah, all for it. And Bud Grant, man, still got some damn good ideas. I'm always rolling with Bud. That's right, baby. His name is Harry Peter. Harry Peter Grant. HPG. Yeah, you know me. That's right, man. But your thoughts on our thoughts. Bud Grant, you make some good points about toughening up the game. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work, put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.